So another frustration I have when it comes to working with files to create files and directories at the command line, I don't like the fact that I have to use separate commands like mkdir here to create a directory versus something like touch here to create a file. Instead, I'd like to have one command to do both here. And so I came up with a new command called mkpath, and I'll probably rename it at some point. And so I could pass in whatever I'd like here. Maybe I want to call this file here. In the case of a file, I don't want to put any slashes on the end, and that will create a file then. So if I list the contents here, you can see there is the new file, just like the bar file in terms of the color, unlike the foo directory I created. And if I want to create a directory, then I could do something like foo/bar/bam/baz. And if I put a slash on the end of that here, before I do that, I'll show you the foo directory here. And so now if I run this new mkpath here with a slash on the end, that'll create 4 levels of directories here. You can see the final result here. So just by putting a slash on the end of the path, it turns into a directory. Otherwise, it treats it as a file. And when it comes to the file side of things, just like with the directory side here, I can create nested levels of directories as well. So if I wanted to create a file here inside of the baz directory, I could do file1. And of course, when I dump the contents out, you'll see there's now file1. And the best part is I don't even have to create the intermediate directories in advance here. I could do something like foo/do/bar/whatever, and then file1. And with files as well, it'll create all of the intermediate directories as well as a file. So now if I tree this out here, you can see there's a separate structure or branch here to the tree with do/bar. So those were both created as well as file1 was created. As for the implementation, this is in fish shell here. So I've got this command or function called mkpath. Take in the path argument. Make sure it's, of course, set here. Have a little help output to show how it works. And then down below here, you can see I check to see if it ends with a slash. If it does, I use the mkdir-p command because that's just a directory. And then if it doesn't end in a slash here, in that case, I use this touch p function that I created. I've discussed that in a previous video. Basically, that takes care of creating the intermediate directories like mkdir-p, as well as then touching the file at the end of the path. And if you would like to get your hands on this implementation, as well as my touch p function up above here, I've got this out in my .files repo. Just go out there. And then it's inside of this particular files-fish specific. Anyways, I'll put a link in the comment down below. And then let me know, what do you think about this? Is there some sort of scenario I'm not considering where this might be a problem? Or is there something else I could do with this to make it even more robust to consolidate more activities into one command? Because at the end of the day, if you're dealing with a path, does it really matter what command you're using if it's a file versus a directory? I don't think so. I think in these general cases of just creating items or entries, a directory or a file, we can just have one command to do all of it. And so here you go. Here's mkpath.